Hello and welcome back to our BNI San Diego podcast. I'm your host, Ed Wilson, the executive director here in BNI San Diego, and my co-host, Andy Cruz of Cruz Productions. Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. I love having you in studio.
Thank you. I love it.
Awesome.
It's fantastic.
Well, it's fun because we kind of do the remote stuff for people out of town, but when we got the in-person stuff here in San Diego, like
everything's going to be done in studio.
This is the way, man. I'm excited.
Our new standard here in San Diego.
It.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
So I like this topic we're talking about today. It's a little bit different.
It's new to me, but I already like it.
Yeah, I love the thought of it. So here's the topic for today. What do you want me to be for you right now? Friend, boss, mentor, or brother?
You know, this reminds me of the question I learned many years ago when I was a young husband is, do you need me to listen or do you need me to fix the problem I'm listening to?
You know, I wish I would have learned that. It would have probably saved a lot of heartache.
Yeah. I think I'm just like everywhere with a hammer trying to fix everything. It's like, I just need you to listen, bro. Like, calm down. Like, she didn't say bro. I mean, she might as well have said bro. So, hey, bro, calm down.
Or as my 18-year-old says, brah.
Brah. Hey, brah.
What's up, brah?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's the meme. All you young kids, bro. I'm with you. I understand. I got teenage kids.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, my oldest is to be 20 soon. I'm getting old, dude.
My oldest is now 22.
See, I'm not that far behind you.
Going to be 23. I'm going to be 55 in July.
Wait a minute. So in July, we can actually go to Denny's Senior Breakfast together and you can buy that for me?
And if we go on your birthday, we'll both eat free.
Okay, listen. This is like people go, why would you say that? Literally people like make fun of me for this. Jen and I have this like life goal that on our 55th birthday, hers before mine, we're going to go to Denny's. Like that's
notice how we put that hers before mine.
Well, it's just because chronologically that's going to happen. I've looked older forever. Okay. I've been bald for like almost 20 years. She's looked great forever.
You probably started out that way too.
My point is the 55 mark, some people go, oh, 55. I like, for some reason, the whole Denny's Senior Breakfast thing to us was like, I can't wait to be at that point in my life where we've gotten to that place and, you know, we can sit around and have breakfast and actually pay the 55 senior breakfast price.
I just added a new one to the list.
Friend, boss, mentor, brother, and?
Jokester.
Okay. Gesture.
I'm
not your butler anymore, huh? So we moved on from being the BNI butler
or Higgins
to now
either one.
Yeah, Higgins. By the way, if you guys missed that episode, us talking about classifications that are difficult to ask for or make asks for, we had a segment in there talking about Higgins, and Higgins is the new AI aid for BNI San Diego. You can go to bnisd.com and check out Higgins in the bottom right corner.
The right-hand corner, Ask BNI. Okay, let's get back to the topic.
Let's do it.
So when you ask that question, as you said, you know, talking about your spouse and do you need me? Why would you ask that question?
Well, because not every situation needs to be handled with the same set of tools, right?
Ooh.
So I did not know about this.
You don't use a hammer for everything?
Well, I do, because it's the only tool I have. I have a handyman. Look, there's a handyman and a general contractor in my chapter for a reason. It's because Andy doesn't know how to do everything, all right? I'm going to be putting spackle with my hammer. No, I have some tools. As I referred to it on my own show, I was like, Andy's first toolkit. I was trying my handyman. I'm trying to impress him with all these tools. He's like, this looks like you just bought these. So what's interesting to me, because I don't need only one part of you or one of you all the time. It's like situationally, I might need you to be my friend right now. Mm-hmm. And there was a season in my life not too long ago where I just needed my BNI people to be my friends. You know, when my wife was going through cancer and we were raising extra kids in our house in addition to our kids. We had 7 girls in the house, and my wife was walking out breast cancer in 2024. And I just needed my BNI members to be friends with me. And they were friends in such big ways, and all these giver-gain ways we talk about that are just espousing the giving heart set of people. Yeah. They really did that. Sometimes I need you to be a mentor, right? Sometimes I need you to be my boss. Tell me what to do. And sometimes I just need you to be my brother, like really just be alongside me in a familial kind of way. So the idea is fascinating to me because it really kind of distills, and there's probably more iterations of this. I'm willing to bet that you could probably categorize every type into one of these
absolutely.
4.
Yeah.
But I like it because it gives you the what I'm trying to say. It's selective in that I can be any of these four at any time you need based on the condition and set of circumstances that are facing you.
And here's the other part of that. Are you willing to be one of the four?
Well, and even in the context of being like I'm mentioning, sometimes I just need people to be my friend.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm beginning like I need you to be my boss. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like I don't know, or there's a couple things I could do. Which one should I do?
Yeah.
So there's a lot in here.
How do you ask that question? How do you ask? Is it, or do you just are you forthright about it and just ask the question?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know because I'm just exploring this for the first time, right?
I guess it depends on the person.
Okay,
right?
Explain more.
And do we have the relationship where I can say, hey, Andy, right now, I need you to be this for me?
Okay.
Or because if you don't have that relationship, we talked earlier about you can't have accountability without relationship. Mm-hmm. You can't have a conversation like this without having relationship.
Yeah. So the degrees of trust that are part of these different categories are kind of what I hear you saying.
Yeah.
Is like, to be my mentor. Like, I kind of, I might be under your tutelage because by function I'm a brand new member. I have a mentor. Okay. Yeah. But also I have to trust you and you also have to have earned and kept that trust too. Because if you are a mentor, especially in B&I, you need to be demonstrating and also being able to teach and demonstrate the facets of best practices that we teach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so I get it. And the situation calls for, I can see certain levels of severity where some things are more serious and some things are not. And some things are just more for the advantage of the person who's asking that of you. I know we had a conversation about how to raise people up into.
Yep.
When we talked about that episode, that was one of my head, like steam coming out of my head. I was at it that day, man. I was like super at it. But it's because I was really passionate about it. And it's kind of a correlation to this too. Like
calling people up
into their potential, up into their calling and what they can really do and how they can execute. And also I think there's I'm going to call it the interpersonal part of this where people's individual sensitivity to how they're treated matters.
Yep.
I'm going to go all the way back to the Platinum Rule with Tony Alessandra.
Ooh.
Those of you who are unfamiliar with the Platinum Rule in Tony Alessandra's book.
Which is?
About how in the Golden Rule, treat people as you would want to be treated.
Correct.
Platinum Rule in Tony Alessandra's definition is treat people how they want to be treated.
Big difference.
Which is communicate, talk to, be about, and do things in the method in which they would prefer.
Which means that you also have to know them.
Correct. And so there's a level of this where, like, immediately, even just in this conversation, I'm realizing this is kind of not a subset, but like a sidecar to that whole concept, and that we have to be able to be any one of these four on the active side, where someone might need me to be one of these, but also I need to be aware of what I'm asking you to be for me. Like, Ed, I need you to be my boss in this moment. Ed, can you be my mentor right now and show me this? Ed, can you just be my friend and hear me out? Ed, can you be my brother? Because I'm going to need your help for this amount of time or for this thing. I need you to do a little bit of the lifting with me. So this is bi-directional.
And when you say that to someone, what should their posture be, or what would you think their posture would be?
When I say what? How I need your help?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listening first, like seeking to understand. Like, okay, what is it?
Explain to me
what
why.
is it that we're dealing with?
Yes.
Yeah. What is it? Why is this coming up? And what do you envision my support looking like? What kind of accountability do you want? How often do you want that accountability? Do you want it to be knife hand and firm, or do you need some grace and some mercy along the way? And there's measurements to those things too. It can be a mix of those things. Like, you like cake. Sorry. I like cake. I'm sorry, Ed. I like cake. And, you put certain levels of those ingredients into the cake so it tastes the right way. I could have used sourdough bread, but I chose cake.
Well, and going back to I love the image of the toolbox, right? There are a lot of tools in the toolbox. You don't use all of them for every situation. You have a hammer for certain things. You have pliers for certain things. You have a screwdriver for certain things. But the key is to have a toolbox with the tools that you need when you need them.
What do you think of the four you do most naturally? I know the circumstances can be the circumstances. What do you think is like your default? I'm naturally this.
I think for me, it goes between mentor and brother, or those are my two. And my 13-year-old, who I talk a lot about on my podcast or our podcast, Abby, makes fun of me because at the end of a conversation, and she goes, "I know that you're talking to someone you know because you say, 'Hey brother, how's it going?' or 'Hey brother, have a great day.'" It's that familial, it's that camaraderie, whatever you want to call it. But for the most part, I think it's one of the areas that I love being in is mentor. So because I know what it's like to be the mentee and how much I've needed those individuals in my life throughout my life that have really played an impactful role, particularly in the area of business. I sat just a few weeks ago with one of my mentors. His name is Mike Adre. Mike Adre is the executive director of the founding region of BNI up in the Inland Empire, San Gabriel Valley. And we were sitting across each other at a table and we were talking about this element. I don't know if I've shared, it might be here or not. Profit First, Mike Michalowicz. And it's one of the things that I need to be doing and I've now adapted, and it's a part of how I run the business in BNI. And we were talking and I was sharing with him, and during this conversation, we went from the brother role to the mentor role. And he was without even asking, we transitioned into him being my mentor. And we were talking about the business, what it's like to run a business. I'm really good at the people side. I tend to struggle sometimes on the business side. So I need those people around me, those mentors that are there to help, to support me and to, hey, you're doing it this way, or you need to do it that way, and those types of things. So there was a live example of switching from one role into the next role without even asking. It was just, we have that kind of relationship.
Yeah, I think it's where there's depth of relationship and duration too. You've
Yes.
been very close, but for a long time.
Yes.
And you're open to that feedback and that input. So broadly, this is the two or more people participatory type of exchange and exercise where both people got to be in on it. It's like, hey, if I pass you the ball, catch the ball. Pass the ball back. Like we have to have like some back and forth. I don't mean like symbiotic and like I get something the same thing, you get something, but you have to participate. Like you have to be in 2 feet in. Don't not be beyond checking the temperature of the water, I guess is the right way to say it.
Or be where your feet are.
Yes, be where your feet are. Like right now, we're right here. This is all I'm doing. This is the only thing I'm doing. There's a lot of stuff happening around me in my life right now, but this is all I'm doing right now.
That's it.
So I want you to kind of reveal more of how do you think, where's the intersection between BNI San Diego, where we're at, what you want for members, and this concept? How do you see these as melding together to support current members, to encourage new growth and inviting people, and to promote long-term sustainability in BNI?
Well, it's interesting. And as we were talking, I'm going to share something that I wasn't planning on sharing. And it is my ultimate goal for when I came into BNI 9 years ago. I had a goal or a vision of impacting 10,000 families through BNI San Diego.
10,000?
10,000 families.
You mean like 10,000 members? Or are you talking about like 5,000 members plus spouse and kids? Like, what do you mean?
10,000 family means a member coming in and their family.
Wow.
So I've shared this before. You've probably heard me say this, kind of sidebar to that. One of my mentors, her name is Shirley Town. She's the executive director for Midlands, South Carolina, has a saying that I love, and I've adopted. She said, we as executive directors have the privilege of impacting people's family trees. And it was interesting because before I ever met Shirley and we had that conversation, I had already had this vision of impacting 10,000 families. And for me, every member that comes in is a family, has people behind it, right? They come to support their families. They come to do the things for the people behind them. And that reminded me of a quote, total sidebar. I love this quote. And the quote is, the warrior fights the battle in front of him, not because he hates who's in front of him, but because he loves who's behind him. Right? And in the same genre, so to speak, the impacting 10,000 families, the things that we get to do and be able to help people sustain their business through COVID, through family trials, through sickness, through whatever it is, and to bring those people around them, we get to do things that it just blows me away, and I'm excited about. This year, 2025, part of that 10,000, that 10,000 right now, that portion of it in 2025 is 373 professionals / families.
Wow.
Just this year that we want to impact.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of growth opportunity.
Yep.
But you're talking about this is like in the magnitude of 10xing something.
Yeah.
Hey, 10x is easier than 2x, right?
It's right there.
Oh man, that book, I've read that book twice.
Yep.
And I'm doing some of the things that are in there.
You have 8 more times to 10x it.
Boom. Wow, that's well. Let's
you
see.
need one
was
of those
that
boards.
mentoring right there, or was that bossing? I'm not sure.
You don't have one of those
Will you be
boards
my
that make
friend
the
right
sounds
now?
on the.
I do. It's over there. It's offset. All those little preset buttons is like zoom, doom, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all over there. That's like when I have a producer normally,
Yes.
which by the way is my kid. So talking about impacting families.
Yeah, there we go.
Real quick, personal story. My daughter Caitlin runs podcast shows when I'm on camera. So I'm not always on camera, but on the ones that I am on, I'm hosting, guesting, or co-hosting. She's on over there. She actually is on another responsibility today, a family responsibility. So she is offset today. But yeah, she could totally go like a zing, but we didn't. So here we are. So that's a lot of people. There's a lot of growth in that. What is it going to take for us as members, as boss, or as friend, boss, mentor, and brother? What is it going to take for us? Tell me and tell everybody else. What's it going to take for us to deliver on that expectation and that hope?
Knowing people. The only way to be able to transition to one of those 4, and again, that's only 4. There are others as well, right? I can only, like we just talked about jokingly, I need you to make me laugh today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There are things that we need at various times, but in order to be able to make that happen, it's building the relationships. It's in BNI San Diego, thanks to Mike Macedonia. Again, I'm going to refer to executive directors because these are my mentors. These are people that have poured into me, and they've transitioned in some of those roles. Ivan was when I originally met him, it was mentor, and then he hired me. He became my boss, and so we've gone through different stages in our time knowing each other. Mike Macedonio, who's the executive director up in the San Francisco Bay Area, has a term, radical inclusion. Right, we want to engulf people, bring them in. We don't want wallflowers. We want you in. We want you sitting next to us. We want you a part of the table, at the table.
Yeah.
And all of that takes relationship. All of that takes those little things in BNI that we do called one-to-ones. Taking time to get to know people, building those long-lasting relationships, which is one of our core values. And in doing those, as you build those relationships, Andy, before BNI, you and I didn't know each other.
No, I actually met you when you were working for Ivan at headquarters. Yeah, that's how we originally met. Yeah.
And now you're at the stage of brother as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
We do kind of look alike. No, we don't. No, I couldn't even finish the sentence.
Right, but all of that to say is it takes relationship. And in order for us to build, grow, sustain in BNI, it all goes back to the relationship, because the best way to refer to someone is someone you've had relationship with.
Yeah, someone you really know.
Otherwise it's, I'm going to date myself, randomly opening up the yellow pages and
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to call that person.
Yeah. Just straight up cold call.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Point at the book, pick a number, dial that number, hope someone answers. Yeah.
So to your question, what are we doing? We're doing things to build relationships with the people that we get to serve. And I'm going to emphasize that we get to serve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think, and I know for me, like, this may sound weird because, you know, as we're recording this, I'm currently the president of my chapter, but like, it's an honor for me. I don't feel like this heaviness of duty, and I will compliment my leadership team and my support team because they carry a lot of the weight before the chapter meetings, in between meetings, and also during meetings when they do their part with excellence. It makes it very easy to run an efficient and awesome meeting.
Yep.
So I have lots of credit to spread around and to share with them. My point in bringing that up, though, was that, you know, everyone in BNI is already kind of one of these by default.
Yep.
And the situation might call for you to be a different one of those. And in another episode where we were talking about, you know, raising people up is, you know, recognize where you fit in this little model of explanation, knowing that they can also maneuver and change based on the person, the circumstances, and the window and season you find each other in. So I might need you to be my brother today, but my boss tomorrow, my mentor about this other thing. So there's a lot of situational awareness in that. But I'm curious if people want to chime in on the comments, you know, right below which one you would think is your default and why. Like, why? What do you think, if your default is friend, share with us. What does that mean in BNI terms?
No, I was going to say what's the environment?
Yeah, and why? Yeah, and why would you answer it that way? This is for sharing purposes. And for surveying, really, there's no scrutiny in any of this. I mean, if we get if everyone below starts like mentor, I'm not going to be surprised at all. And if I get brother, that's not going to be. You know how I said that kind of like the Hulk right there? I was like brother. I did not intend to do that. That was really weird. So I would not be surprised by that at all. Same thing for boss and for mentor. So, you know, I think that it is a responsibility of ours to know which one we are in any given circumstance and be open and flexible enough to switch into a different role or put a different hat on really quick if the situation or the person calls for it.
You know, and that's another way to put it, right? What hat are you wearing? Which hat are you wearing? And in a business environment, it's you need to be able to wear different hats. You just have to know how to gauge the environment to know which hat you should be wearing.
Yeah.
And again, going back to how do you gauge which hat you should be wearing is when you know people well enough and you can read their body language, and you've got a member that you have known to be a certain way. They're always on time. Things are happening. They're lively. And then all of a sudden that changes. Mm-hmm. And that's a moment where you may need to come alongside them as a brother. Yeah.
There's a time to assert the role. And I'm using the word assert specifically because it's also to enact or to be the role, adopt it, like wear it, like it's your role.
Yeah.
So there's a time where I have to assert my bossiness as a president. Say, hey guys, we've got a moment of housekeeping here. We're starting at 7:15. We need to be starting at 7:10. Can you guys help our visitors get out on time by getting your food and sitting down so we can start at 7:10? That would help me. That'd help you, and more and most importantly, help our visitors. Right? Things like that. So I'm saying assert in the non-confrontational, aggressive way, but assert that role when that role is called upon you. I think that's a great leadership expression for us as members in BNI. We also have an opportunity to grow in our own leadership by exploring these things and embodying them in various situations. And then being able to teach us to other people as well, not only by demonstrating it, but also having these conversations. I also would encourage anyone who is in leadership right now and listening to this podcast or watching it in 4K on YouTube, at home on TV, that you would carry this conversation back to chapter. Have this conversation with your leadership team or your support team,
think about that.
Or even your membership at large. Sometimes, occasionally, when we have two featured presentations and one of them has to cancel last minute or they are sick or something, this has happened a number of times.
Yep.
If you regain that 8 minutes in your meeting, maybe spend a couple minutes asking your chapter members what they need most in the room right now.
Ooh.
Do you need me to be your friend? Do you need me to be your boss, your mentor? What do you need the chapter to be for you?
Ooh.
And that would be a good way to kind of foster some communication, get some insight, check the pulse on everybody, and then know what you need to carry out next with your education moments as a leadership team, or even encouraging your director to come and speak on these things and help aid in the direction you're trying to take everybody.
So in a previous podcast, you had shared with the listeners about a time when you were going through health difficulty.
Yeah.
And the company, I mean, there was all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, to shut down my business and everything.
And in that moment, going back to your question about, asking your chapter, what did you need your chapter to be and what did they show up as?
You know what's so cool is they did all of these things. They did every single one of these facets based on who they were, what their role was, and whether their proximity to my business was direct or indirect.
Ooh.
Okay. So if you missed that episode, you can go back and check it. But when I had lost everything in my business and I got very ill and I literally had to start from square one as an entrepreneur, I had members who were good friends to me.
Yep.
And they just like, you know what do you need? How can I help you? And then I had people that were boss, like, you need to do this. We need to do that. My business attorney, Eddie, we need to file this thing, put this form. We need to dissolve the entity before the end of the year, sign this, send it back. We had the mentoring thing, like my friend Miguel. I'm going to say mentor brother, but like, hey, I see this in you. I need you to come and help me with this because you have this skill set. Even though where you were applying it before doesn't exist, I need you to come and excel that, put that skill set here. Same thing. I'm going to go back and say boss one more time, Jason Turner, when I had to file my BK. Hey, you need to do this. We got to file this, do it this way, get me this, and here's how this is going to proceed.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then in their own way, each each people I'm referring to, they were like a mentor, brother as well, where like they were alongside me, like, hey, we're going to get through this together. It's kind of like, for any of those you've watched The Band of Brothers or any other military movie where there's a guy injured on the battlefield and someone else got their arm around him, they're just kind of hanging on for dear life, and the other one who's well and able-bodied is running them to safety. Like, that's what my chapter did to me. They really did. And that's not me even being theatrical about it. These people really did those things. And I still to this day talk about that constantly when people ask me about BNI, when they ask me about what happened back then and what do you do now and how this happened. And I talk about those. There's more people. I mean, Ed, I had people that they basically helped us pay for groceries, cover our bills, go well far beyond what would have been expected of them, because that's the giver's gain heart set that they had. And that helped me endure a time in my life where it was honestly one of the most uncertain periods of my life I've ever had.
And how important to you was your chapter? Were those people in those roles?
I'll do anything for them. I tell them all the time. Like, look, I'm going to be super candid. I'm already being super candid. There are times when they need something from me professionally, and I just do it. There's no invoice.
Yep.
I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
Oh, you need this thing? Cool. When do you need me to show up? Where do you need me to be? What do you need it to look like? How's it got to be? And I'll do it because they've already gone ahead of me. They pulled me out of the trench. They put me back into safety. They nursed me back to wellness. And now they're helping me flourish alongside them now. Yeah. I'll do whatever you want. That make sense?
Oh, yeah. Those are those individuals, going back to your wartime analogy. Those are the people that you die on the hill for.
Yeah. Or they literally, they executed their role for my person and my company at a time when their expertise exists for the exact thing that I was going through. Mm-hmm. And they did it. They demonstrated it with excellence, and I witnessed firsthand the thing that I tell other people they can do. So when I'm like, oh, call Eddie about business because he can do this, and call Miguel for this, and call Jason for that. Like, I've witnessed it. There's the people that got me to the triage tent and helped me get better in the business sense. So I've seen it firsthand. It makes it super easy for me to refer them, and they were happy to walk out and carry out their professional role for the situation I found myself in, that they're also asking the whole chapter to entrust them with too.
Oof. Wow.
It's full circle, dude.
Wow.
Full circle.
So what an incredible conversation. I wasn't expecting it to go. And
here we are once again.
That's it. Yeah, right? The element of vulnerability and transparency, though, that's what makes BNI so special is, as the saying goes, people come in for the referrals or for the money, and they stay because of the people.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, here's another prime example of, having people in your room that can be one of these 4 or whatever ones we add to it into that element in your life and pour into your life to call you up.
Yep.
Right. And someone who that is flailing, or that you see like, oh my gosh, they're getting ready to go off the rails. I just learned a new term that I love. And we are, it's what we see our director team as. Have you ever heard of a rumble strip?
A rumble. Oh, yes. Yes.
What's a rumble
strip? You're talking about on the road where you're kind of going off out of the lane a little bit?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Sorry. I just super jumped into that. Did you just like put a hook in the water so I can admit that I've gone off the road and I know what a rumble strip is?
No, but you proved the point.
Thank
right?
you. I appreciate that.
So what's the point of a rumble strip?
I got this hook in my mouth, Ed.
What's the point of a rumble strip?
To warn you, you're going off course.
Yeah. It's not going to prevent you from going off course.
Oh no, but it'll loudly tell you.
Yes. Right. And the goal, because there are people that have gone off the rumble strip and right into the ditch. It's not going to stop you. It's going to make you aware to hopefully get you back in order. And I learned that one from one of my, she's done all of these roles for me, is Chrissy Ballard.
Oh, I love Chrissy.
Chrissy Ballard is the
Chrissy and
executive
Bill,
director.
special shout out.
There
Chrissy and Bill, we love you guys.
She is the executive directors for Southern Arizona.
Sozo.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Chrissy and I were in a chapter. She was in BNI just a couple months before I was. We were in the same chapter together, but she had shared that with us at a executive director summit. And what a powerful image of what we get to do as director teams coming alongside our leadership and chapters is we are there to support you, to help keep you on the road to success. And as you veer off and you hit the rumble strip, we're there to help you get back on track.
I'll tell you something as an aside, and my final thought for this kind of topic today is, you have personally for me, Ed, been all of these: friend, boss, mentor, and brother, and
vice versa.
Thank you, as has Chrissy and Bill. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the special things about BNI is even outside of San Diego, the relationships that I've met because of going to international conference, national conference, being on the director team, exposing the things about our life and our story in these platforms has opened up opportunities to connect and deepen relationships with people. And 2 very special people to me are Chrissy and Bill. And I was so fortunate to have them stay with us during the holiday, during Christmas, after Christmas, actually, like for New Year's. A little bit after that. I think after they left Mike and Don's, actually. Hold on. They left Mike and Don's, and they came back down to San Diego.
Yes.
They stayed with me, and we had so much fun. And they're all 4 of these things. They embody very all much. Those things, and they are so acutely aware of which situation requires which role. Mm-hmm. You're very good at that. They're very good at that. And I know that there's a lot of you watching this or listening to this, and you're good at that too. And kind of my final pitch is, be so hyper aware of the situation that you can be the best part of that role for the person you're in front of whenever it's called upon you.
Ooh, there's a drop the mic moment.
It's getting expensive around here, man. You keep saying we're dropping mics, and I can't be buying new mics every week, bro.
Andy, thank you so much. This was it was a topic that I wasn't quite sure about, but I love the conversation. Helping us understand that, and I apologize for sharing it this way, but for my faith as a Christian, being all things to all people, and realizing that I need to be aware of who I need to be for them at whatever given moment.
Yeah.
And this was thank you for the conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this one up today. It was awesome.
And for our listeners, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to having you join us back next week, as we always say, for another fantastic BNI San Diego podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.